Hello, welcome to another Universal Battle report. I'm using High Elves versus Dark Elves, and this is a 2,400 point ETC comp game, just a straightforward battle line. I'll just go over the armies as deployed. At the top there's my Frostheart Phoenix in the ruins, 5 Silver Helms, a Bolt Thrower touching the hill, Great Eagle with Swift Sense, Prince on Star Dragon with the Giant Blade, Dawnstone and Enchanted Shield and Heavy Armour, so it's a 2+ rerollable save. 5 more Silver Helms with Champion and Standard, another Bolt Thrower, 16 Silver Helms with 2 level 2 Wizards, a BSB with Banner of the World Dragon in that unit, and also another Noble with Ogre Blade and another Bolt Thrower. And the Dark Elf army, there's 2 Bolt Throwers by the hill and 5 Doomfire Warlocks, 5 Dark Riders with, I believe, shields and crossbows, a unit of Cold One Knights at the bottom, not sure how many, there's about 10 Cold One Knights, 2 Dreadlords and a level 4 Sorceress in that unit, Bolt Thrower in the middle, a unit of Witch Elves with the Cauldron BSB, and 5 more Dark Riders. Spell-wise, I took High Magic on both of my casters. I rolled up Soul Quench, Apotheosis, Walk Between Worlds, and Arcane Unforging, and I also have the Kane's Ring of Fury on one of my mages, so I've got 2 Soul Quenches. My opponent took Death on the Sorceress and got Aspect of the Dread Knight, Fate of Fortuna, Soul Blight, and Doom and Darkness. High Elves' first turn, and in movement the Frost Phoenix charges the Warlocks who flee, and the unit of Silver Helms next to it also declare charge because they're still in range, so this pushes them further back, although they don't go off the board. However, they do flee through that Bolt Thrower on the left. It panics, so it can't shoot next turn. Star Dragon Lord stays put, as I don't feel safe bringing him out, still with 2 Bolt Throwers that could potentially take a few wounds off him. And my other units advance like so, with the large unit Silver Helms wheeling round in front of the Dark Riders. In the magic phase, the only spell I managed to get off is an Arcane Unforging onto the Death Hag, but it turns out she doesn't have any magic items. Shooting phase, the Bolt Throwers shoot at Dark Riders, killing 2 from each unit, but they don't panic, and the rightmost Bolt Thrower kills a couple of Witch Elves since that's all it can see. Pretty bad mistake, I think. I probably should have focused both of the more central Bolt Throwers onto the unit of Dark Riders in front of the Silver Helms, rather than just picking off a couple from each unit. Dark Elves turn 1, the Warlocks rally and advance to the hill so they can see the Phoenix. And both units of the Dark Riders get their charges off onto Bolt Throwers. The Cold Ones advance to the centre of the board. The Witch Elves back up slightly to be a bit further away from the Silver Helms. In the magic phase, Soul Blight goes off onto the Phoenix, but I either stop Doombolt from the Warlocks or he fails to cast it. And in combat, both units of Dark Riders destroy their Bolt Throwers and end up like so. High Elves turn 2, the Phoenix charges the Warlocks again, who flee again. I redirect my charge into the Bolt Thrower and make it, and the unit of 5 Silver Helms by the ruins attempts to charge against the other Bolt Thrower but fail. I bring the Star Dragon round to the flank of the Cold One unit. My Great Eagle gets off a charge against the other Bolt Thrower in the middle, and I advance cautiously with my other 2 units, the small unit of Silver Helms and the big World Dragon unit. In the magic phase, I cast Soul Blight onto the Witch Elves. I forgot they get magic resistance 1 actually from the Cauldron, so they got 4+ war save, and I only killed 2. And the Bolt Thrower targets the Dark Riders closest to it, but only kills 1, and they don't panic. In the combat phase, the Frost Phoenix destroys the Bolt Thrower and overruns, needing an 8 to make it into the Warlocks and destroy them. However, only rolls 7, and the Eagle kills the Bolt Thrower as well, and also overruns. Dark Elves turn 2, and the Cold One unit in the middle tries a charge on my small unit of Silver Helms. I flee, roll pretty low, a 4 I think, but he doesn't catch me, and he stumbles forward a couple of inches. So that's a pretty huge mistake there from the Cold Ones. And they're going to get a Star Dragon in the flank next turn. So I was pretty shocked to see that happen. No other charges. The Witch Elves back up again. So at the moment they're a pretty safe distance away from the Silver Helm unit. I wouldn't try to charge at that distance, I don't think. The Warlocks rally and go behind the Phoenix to hopefully cast Doombolt again, and the Dark Riders advance towards the Bolt Thrower. In Magic, I have to let through either a Soul Blight onto the Dragon or a Doom and Darkness, which is -3 leadership, and I let Doom and Darkness through. I figure I really need that strength 7 to cut through the Cold One's armour. And leadership 7 is not ideal, but next turn I'm planning to divert the Witch Elves with my Eagle and then advance my Silver Helm unit with the BSB close enough to the Dragon so that he's stubborn thanks to Banner of the World Dragon and gets a reroll. And I'm not anticipating to lose combat anyway, so I don't particularly mind Doom and Darkness. Nothing happens in the shooting phase, so it's on to my turn 3, and yet my Dragon goes into the flank of the Cold Ones. Frostheart Phoenix comes up behind, Silver Helm butts in front, and they are literally exactly 12 inches away from the Dragon, so it's quite handy. I think they might have used their full movement moving around there. And the Eagle goes in front of the Witch Elves so that they can't do anything. If they charge it, they'll overrun away from the Silver Helms. In Magic phase, the only spell I get off is Walk Between Worlds on the Silver Helms, and that just brings them a little bit closer to the Cold One, so I'm definitely satisfied now that the Witch Elves, even if they roll like a 2 on their overrun, won't be able to see the Silver Helms. And also, you know, they're 100% within range for the BSB reroll now. There'll be no arguing over millimeters there. In the shooting phase, the Bolt Thrower finishes off 1 unit of Dark Riders. And so on to combat. The champion issues a challenge which the Prince has to accept. I kill him with my Prince, who's strength 7, and I get a couple of overkill, I think. So I win combat with the flank charge. He doesn't have a BSB in that unit. His BSB is the Death Hag, all the way at the bottom of the board. However, I mean, he's steadfast anyway, because he has a full rank at the front, but one of his characters has the Crown of Command, so they'll be stubborn for a while. So stubborn leadership 10, but without a reroll, and he rolls like a double 6, I think, boxcars. No rerolls, nothing he can do about it. So this is just a dreadful, dreadful mistake with this unit. He later told me that the Cold One unit is over 1,000 points, I think 1,100. So actually about same kind of cost as my Silver Helm unit. He flees, and I catch him and take a win from dangerous terrain there. So that's the game really. The rest of it's just academic. I mean, he's lost his 1,000 point unit, and it's just a matter of seeing if I can wipe him off the board. We actually he actually agrees to continue. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to practice some manoeuvring and just to see how it plays out against the Witch Elves as well. So yes, we do continue with it, and you just can't risk a 1,000 point unit to a flank charge like that, even if you are stubborn, unless you've got a BSB in range. So Dark Elves turn 3, the Dark Riders charge the last remaining Bolt Thrower. Warlocks come up onto the hill behind the Phoenix, and the Witch Elves kind of pretty much stay still. They shuffle like an inch or something. Magic does nothing, and there's no shooting, and the Dark Riders destroy the repeater Bolt Thrower. So it's on to my turn 4. So since those Witch Elves are still just sat there ignoring that Eagle and stuck, I figure I've got all the time that I need and don't need to rush into an assault against them. I'd rather take out those Warlocks first and then go against them. So I advance my bus towards them, and I've got 2 Soul Quenches I can use, and he now only has the level 2 to dispel with instead of level 4. And the Phoenix, I figure I'll keep away from the Witch Elves. I don't want that in the fight, as its main defense is its its toughness rather. It only has a 5+ ward save, or 5+ armor, 5+ ward. I think their poison attacks are pretty ideal against it, so I'll keep him away from them. But the dragon comes around to the flank, ready for later turns. I only get 1 soul quench off though, and there's still 2 warlocks left, and they don't panic. His turn, the warlocks make a good move to the side of the Silver Helms, so they can't be charged next turn. And you'll maybe notice the Witch Elf unit looks like it's had 2 Witch Elves appear. That's because when I did my soul quench, he initially thought it was against them and removed 2 models, which was in the last picture, and now he's added them back. And in the magic phase, he gets off Doombolt onto the Phoenix and does another wound to it, and shooting is ineffectual. So it's my turn 5, and I start to move everyone up, ready for a turn 6 charge against the Witch Elves. And I decide, after all, I will send the Phoenix against them, just for its Thunderstomp and everything, and they're probably not going to kill it. Someone correct me if you think this is wrong. We weren't 100% sure, but I moved the mage who has soul quench out of my Silver Helm unit, and then swift reform them so they could move like that. So please let me know if that is an illegal move. And in the magic phase, I finally kill the warlocks with the soul quench. You may notice the Silver Helm unit looks like some of the models have moved. That's just me reorganising the models after the mage left. Dark Elves turn 5, he reforms the Witch Elves to be 6 wide, and to face the Silver Helms more fully like that. This means that the Silver Helms and Phoenix are definitely in the front, and the dragon we rolled off because it was pretty much exactly 50-50 whether it was the front or the side of that unit when we measured it. So we rolled it off, and I rolled off that he was in the front as well. He brings the Dark Riders round to the centre, where they do nothing, and I don't know what they think they're doing there. High Elves turn 6, and this is a charge we've been waiting for. The Silver Helm burst goes into front, Dragon goes into front, just touching the corner like that. Eagle into the side, and my other Silver Helm unit into the side. The Phoenix couldn't get in. I basically had to choose between sending in the Phoenix or the Dragon. And since the Dragon has Breath Weapon and a 3+ armor save, I thought that was the better choice. In Magic Phase, I soul quench off the Dark Riders. So in combat, I get a couple of surprises. First of all, I have to take a leadership test with everyone apart from the Dragon at -3 or suffer from fear. And everyone passes apart from my bus, so they go down to weapon skill 1. And also the witches have the Razor standard, which gives them armor piercing, and that basically makes them twice as effective at killing my Silver Helms. Also they're rerolling to hit because of hatred, obviously, which Dark Elves have hatred of High Elves, and the rerolling to wound because of the Cauldron. So all in all, a terrifying unit. But at the end of the day, they lose I think they lose 10 because they make quite a lot of their 5+ ward saves. I lose 5 Silver Helms and take a wound on the Dragon, and that's it. So here's a closer look at how it ends up. So I have a rank on my bus unit still. So I have my first rank and also a complete second rank. And the witches are 6 wide, and you can see that their third rank has lost 1 person. So they are still 5 wide, I mean they have 2 ranks, and therefore they are still steadfast. And they make their leadership test. And I realised afterwards, I'm pretty sure I forgot to stomp with my eagle. And so if I had killed 1 more Witch Elf, they would have broken, because they would have been like -6 to their leadership. So I didn't kill as many as I'd hoped. The Breath Weapon in particular didn't roll very high, and the Dragon missed with a lot of attacks, I think. But we called the game there. Basically, it was getting very late. We both had been playing for quite a long time, and obviously it's a crushing victory, huge victory for the High Elves. And basically, regardless of what happens next turn, the best case scenario for him is in his turn 6, He has a miraculous combat phase. He wins combat, and I break with the Silver Helm or something, but the thing is the dragon would still be stubborn, leadership 10, re-rollable first of all because of the BSB, before the BSB broke, so nothing's going to happen there. And even if the dragon broke, all he can do is catch one unit, and destroying any of those units, even the prince or the bus, is not going to be enough to save the game since I've destroyed everything else. So victory for the High Elves. I really enjoyed using this list. Very different to other lists I've used in the past, and it's nice having really mobile, hard-hitting units in the Star Dragon and the bus. And it makes, even though you have to be pretty precise with movement, and I made a lot of mistakes there, it does speed things up somewhat when you're only moving sort of 3 or 4 units as opposed to 8 or 9. So I'll just go over a few points which I've learnt from that battle. Firstly, I know from experience that witch elves are very likely to have the armor-piercing banner, so I didn't think at the time, but I should really have tried to arcane and forging their banner, and that would have helped a bit in their combat at the end. Obviously, never let your 1000-point Death Star get caught by any sort of unsavoury charge. Well, period, basically, but especially not if you're outside the BSB range and you're just relying on that one roll, and you're gonna let the game hinge on that one roll on leadership, and it's just not good to do that. It's not worth it. Never forget to stomp. If I'd remembered to stomp and had killed another witch elf, I may well have broken that unit, and it would have been a bit more of a satisfying victory, although it didn't make any difference to the outcome of the game. And lastly, never underestimate witch elves. So thanks for watching. I intend to play a few more battles here and there when I can on Universal Battle, and I'll hopefully have some more actual battles sometime soon. Main thoughts at the moment are I'm just hoping that these type of tactical battles are still possible under the new rules for Warhammer, which are coming out fairly soon, I believe. So yep, thanks for watching, and see you next time.